Lucas, Markowitz, Noel, Oliver, and Wright. The rest of us are below. Now, doing the first call items, Council Vice President LeBlanc. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. You can hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Got a lot of work here. We've been busy, even in the summertime. July 11th, the meeting on July 11th, 228-23, Nelson and Sally Dupierre. Request to further extend a non-conforming 3.5-story single-family dwelling and to exceed FAR at 35 Oak Cliff Road. Approved 6-0. 229-23, JP Camella. Request to waive 7 parking stalls at 12 Austin Street. Approved 6-0. 239-23, Theodore and Stephanie Silverstein. Request to allow parking in the front setback at 213 Jackson Street. Approved 6-0. Our July 25th meeting, 204-23, Mildred McMullen, trustee, Milmac Trust. Request to allow a drive-in business and associated parking waivers to allow freestanding sign and oversized directional signs at 940 Boylston Street. We approved a withdrawal without prejudice, 6-0. 197-23, Terrence Morris. Request to amend conditions within special permit 395-22 at 136-144 Hancock Street. Approved 6-0. 198-23, Norton Point Street LLC and 106 River Street LLC, David Oliveri. Request to amend special permit at 106 River Street. Approved 6-0. 199-23, 71 Commonwealth LLC. Request to amend special permit 504-22 at 71 Commonwealth Avenue. Approved 6-0. Our Tuesday, August 8th meeting, 261-23, Shauna Guerin and Robert Dunn, trustees of D&G Realty Trust, requesting to amend special permit 11323 to allow expanded hours of operation for patio at 344, 346 Elliott Street. Approved 5-0. And I will move that all those reports. I also have public hearings to assign.
Please go ahead.
All of these hearings are for August 22nd. 259-23, Edward and Lana Lukatsky. Request for a special permit to reduce required lot area by 5% at 52 Sharp Road. 262-23, Robert and Laura K. Hughes. Request to waive the separation requirement for historic detached accessory apartment to further extend non-conforming height and footprint and to exceed FAR at 193 Lake Avenue. 263-23, John Hollingsworth. Request to change from a non-conforming 2-family dwelling use to 2 single-family dwellings on 1 lot at 373 Lexington Street. Murtha Chang, 264-23, request to amend the site plan associated with special permit 179-15 at 1349 Center Street. 265-23, Kosher K LLC, request to extend a non-conforming residential use to allow a 3-unit multifamily dwelling to extend non-conforming front, side, and rear setbacks to allow up to 36 feet in height and waivers for parking at 43 Craft Street. And Maya Sarhal, 266-23, request to allow parking in the front setback at 89-91 Craft Street. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now Councilor Crossley for the Zoning and Planning Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. The Zoning and Planning Committee met twice in July. First on July 24th, and we took up and voted on the following items. 205-23 is a petition by Terrence on behalf of a property at 132 Charles Street. Terrence P. Morris, Esquire.
That's on second call.
Oh, okay. Sorry, missed that. Next, we have the Well, I'm assigning a public hearing on the item 206-23, which was held. Discussion and possible ordinance to allow for breweries, brew pubs, and other craft beverage production. And the committee voted to set the public hearing for 9/11/23. Then we met on Monday, July 31st, and we, on item 245-23, Her Honor the Mayor appointed Jane Obaji to the Economic Development Commission as a member for a term of office to expire on September 11th, 2026. That was approved 7-0. And the next item is still on second call. Item on the next page, 246-23, we have a number of appointments and reappointments. The committee was very pleased to approve the appointment of Anthony Chickariello as Commissioner of Inspectional Services, appointed by the mayor pursuant to Section 3-3 of the City Charter. That was approved 8-0. 243-23 is reappointment of Catherine Cade to the Conservation Commission for a term of office to expire on July 31st, 2026. That was approved 8-0. 244-23 is the reappointment of Jeffrey Ricklin to the Newton Upper Falls Historic District Commission by Her Honor the Mayor for a term of office to expire on July 31st, 2026, and that was approved 8-0. And then I need a suspension of the rules, please, to put forward some late filed items.
I think the custom is for you to tell us what they are.
Right. So in the docket, on page 484, is item 277-23. These are all appointments or reappointments, all three of them. The appointment of Peter Leiss to the Newton Historic Commission by Her Honor the Mayor as an alternate member for a term of office to expire on April 19th, 2025. And then two reappointments. Item 278-23, reappointment of John Rice by Her Honor the Mayor to the Newton Historic Commission for a term of office set to expire on September 30th, 2026. And 279-23, reappointment of Doug Cornelius by Her Honor the Mayor to the Newton Historic Commission for a term of office set to expire on July 31st, 2026. And may I just say that the Zoning and Planning Committee is meeting twice also in August. We're very sorry about that, but we have a deadline. So we are meeting tomorrow night, which is an unusual evening for us. And then later in the month, on a Monday night, I think it is the 21st, but it's the Monday. So.
We just need to vote on your suspension of the rules.
Oh, yes, please.
So Councilor Crossley has asked for suspension of the rules to accept 3 late filed items. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you very much. I may have missed it, but did you read out 245-23? It was the appointment of Jane Obaji.
Yes, I did.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, next we have Councilor Krinsman for the Programs and Services Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. The report begins on page 478. Programs and Services Committee met on Wednesday, July 12th. Item 235-23, this is the appointment of Maruta Vitols as a Jackson Homestead trustee. That was approved by the committee by a vote of 6-0. Next item was held. Item 248-23, this is the reappointment of Michael Flaherty to the Health and Human Services Advisory Council, was approved by a vote of 6-0. Item 249-23, the reappointment of Matthew Stafford to the Health and Human Services Advisory Council, was approved by a vote of 6-0. Item 250-23, the reappointment of Asa Fanelli to the Health and Human Services Advisory Council, was approved 6-0. And item 251-23, the reappointment of Joanna Josephson as a Newton Library trustee, was approved 6-0. I have a couple of late filed items. Item 280-23, the appointment of Paula Holt as a Newton Library trustee, and item 281-23, the appointment of Susan Harvey as a Newton Library trustee. And I would ask for a vote to admit those items.
Thank you very much. So Councilor Krinsman would like a suspension of the rules to accept 2 late filed items for his committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President. I would also just add that at our first meeting in September, we're going to be taking up the sustainable containers item. So for folks who are interested in that, please join us. And lastly, on Wednesday, in 2 days, we're going to be taking public comments on the tree ordinance. So if you're interested in that, please tune in. And I would move the report, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Councillor Downs for Public Safety and Transportation.
Thank you, Madam President. There is no report. However, I have a late filed item, number 28223, discussion and ordinance change to section 1949, temporary parking permits. And I'm requesting a suspension of the rules to admit that item.
So Councillor Downs would also like a suspension of the rules to accept a late filed item. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Leary for Public Facilities Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. The report starts on page 479. The committee met on Wednesday, July 19th. We approved item 134-23. This is the approval of the roadway infrastructure improvements for the Elliott Street traffic calming project. We heard it on 5/17, and we approved it on at our last meet at this meeting 4-0 to 2. There 2 councilors abstained. And then there was item 25423. Her Honor the Mayor reappointing Jonathan Cantor at 672 Chestnut Street, Woburn, to the Citizens Commission on Energy for a term of office to expire June 15th, 2026. And I think this is the night to request suspension of the rules. I'll be making 2 requests. I'll do them one at a time. The first one is to request a suspension of the rules to accept a late filed item that the committee heard earlier today. This was 255-23, Eversource Energy petitioning for a grant of location to relocate a pole east of Hammond Pond Parkway, approximately 3 feet from its current location. We held this at our last meeting as there was a discrepancy between on the writing of the item. So we had to hold it. So it was approved 5-0.
So I think you're asking for suspension of the rules to give a report for which there's no written report.
Yes, I am, and I just gave the report, didn't I?
Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Thank you very much.
So I like to do things backwards, I guess. So I will request a second suspension of the rules. And this time I have to tell you what it is. So this is 283-23. The councilors Norton, Lucas, Malachi, and Laredo are requesting a discussion with the Department of Public Works, the Department of Parks and Recreation, and the Conservation Commission regarding the condition of and the potential improvements to the stormwater infrastructure at Edmonds Park. And the discussion should include which city department is responsible for the park, flooding issues from the park, the condition of the park's infrastructure, including the liner that was installed in the pond in the 1970, and how improvements to the park could be part of the city's phosphorus reduction plan.
So that's a suspension of the rules to accept a late file item. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Councillor Grossman for the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. There's no written report this evening, but I do need to request a suspension of the rules to report out items that were heard earlier this evening for which there is no written report.
So Councillor Grossman would like a suspension of the rules to accept reports that are not written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, no? Very good.
Okay, thank you. The Finance Committee met tonight just before our meeting at 7 o'clock, and we discussed 4 items. The first was 256-23, acceptance of $150,000 from the Massachusetts state budget for Newton's Blue Bike system. That was approved 8-0. The second was 257-23, acceptance of grant funding for the Marty Sender Greenway Phase 2 restoration project, and that was a $50,000 grant approved 8-0. Item 260-23, acceptance of $1,250,000 from the Massachusetts state budget for the Christina Street Bridge and Path Project was approved 8-0. And finally, item 258-23, the transfer of $200,000 to New TV from the PEG Access and Cable Related Fund, that was approved 8-0 as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilor Rado for the Real Property Reuse Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. There's no report this evening.
Thank you very much. So, Madam Clerk, we could call the roll.
Counselor Baker.
Aye.
Counselor Bowman. Counselor Crosley.
Aye.
Counselor Danberg.
Aye.
Counselor Downs.
Aye.
Counselor Gentile.
Aye, except for item 134-23 on page 480, on which I vote no.
Counselor Greenberg.
Aye.
Counselor Grossman.
Aye.
Counselor Humphrey.
Aye.
Counselor Kalis.
Aye.
Counselor Kelly.
Aye, with the exception of number 134-23, for which I vote no.
Counselor Krinsman.
Aye.
Counselor Laredo.
Aye.
Counselor Leary.
Aye.
Counselor Lipoff.
Aye.
Counselor Lucas.
Aye.
Counselor Maliki.
Aye.
Counselor Markowitz.
Aye.
Counselor Noel.
Aye.
Counselor Norton.
Aye.
Counselor Oliver.
Aye.
Counselor Ryan.
Aye.
Counselor Wright.
Aye.
President Albright.
Aye.
Motion carries 23 yeas, 0 nays, 1 absent, with the exception of item number 134-23, with 21 yeas, 2 nays, and 1 absent.
Okay, thank you very much. We have one item on second call, 205-23. Councilor Crosley, could you give the report on that?
Certainly, Madam President. So the committee met twice on this item. It was first introduced and there was a public hearing held on July 24th. And members, a couple of members of the committee felt that there was more information they needed to have on this item. And so we met again, we held it, and we met again on July 31st. It's a petition to rezone a couple of lots on Charles Street. Terrence P. Morris, Esquire, petitioning to amend the City of Newton zoning map by changing the current zoning of the property known as and numbered 132 Charles Street, and shown on the City of Newton's assessor's database as there's 2 lots, Section 41, Block 6, lots 14, currently zoned multi-residence 1 and manufacturing, and Section 41, Block 6, Lot 26, currently zoned manufacturing, to mixed-use 1. So as this was described to us, this is the multiple zoning on these couple of lots are, I guess I'll use the word hangover from prior to when the Mass Pike came through. One of the lots literally has 2 zones, and one of the zones literally cuts through the existing building on the lot. And both lots are owned by the same owner. And the owner, who bought the property not too long ago, has tenants in the property. Technically, legally, the owner is not allowed to have the use in the building extend into the back corner of the building where there's a different zone. This portion of the map is very much isolated from any neighborhoods. There's no residential areas next to it. It's either the Pike, there's a train, I think, and a park. I don't know, it's just completely cut off from everything else. It's a triangle of land. I'm trying to keep my notes while I'm doing this. The presentation was basically from the owner's point of view, from the property owner's point of view. He had been advised that in order to go forward in tenanting the buildings or whatever he wants to do on the site, he should simplify the zoning and have some clarity and some certainty about what the zoning should be. And his interest is to zone it mixed use 1. What was missing from our first meeting was, and it had been provided but was not in the packet for the committee, were comparative tables of uses. And that was asked for and received for the second meeting, where it was also described that the owner doesn't have interest in, at the moment, in doing anything with the existing buildings, but having the tenancy that he would like. So mixed use 1 would give him that. It actually that also reduces the number of uses that would be allowed in the manufacturing district. So the committee voted in favor of the zone change 6 to 0 to 2 abstentions. Councilors Krinsman and Ryan abstained. The one other point I should make is that it was made clear to us that any future development that might occur on this site, should the owner wish to do it, by right under the mixed use 1 zone would still require a special permit because it's too big. So it would easily go over the 20,000 square feet. And I'll end it there.
Thank you very much. Councillor Gentile, I think you put this on second call.
I did. I'm going to make comments on 2 areas. One is process, and then the other is the substance of the request. And I will do it as quickly as I can. On process, I am going to repeat many of the same comments that I made several years ago. And that is when someone came in, large or small, for a special permit request to City Hall, one of the first things they were asked was, have you spoken to the alderman at the time or councilors about this request? Have you contacted them to let them know what you're trying to do? And they were strongly encouraged to do that by, in particular, the planning department or maybe somebody in inspectional services. That oftentimes led to, we were contacted, and many times by either the owner or through the attorney representing the owner, councils were invited out to see the site firsthand so that it could be explained to them what they were thinking about doing and the reasons why. Subsequent to that, they would also often end up, because the councilors would recommend that there be a neighborhood meeting and everybody worked on a date for the members of the neighborhood and also for the councilors to be in attendance. And then it would proceed from there. But it really opened up the lines of communication, and it was a courtesy. I always viewed it as a courtesy that I appreciated, and that made sense. Over the years, we've gotten away from that more and more and more, to the point now where it is really very much the exception versus the rule. And I was frustrated about that the last time that I spoke on this, and I continue to be, because I think it's a courtesy that should be extended. And in this particular case, I have no idea, or had no idea, as to what was going on. I haven't heard from the owner, didn't hear a word from his attorney. And other than reading a couple of very, very small reports, there wasn't really a lot of information. And that's because I guess there wasn't a lot of discussion You know, I've been in the dark on this, and I think it's unfortunate that our role has diminished in this way. I thought everybody was better served when there was better communication. As to the substance, it's generally been, and I don't know of a situation where a change of zone hasn't been accompanied by a special permit request so that we knew why the zone was being changed. You know, Riverside comes to mind, as do other projects. I'm sure it's happened in the past, but I just, you know, to me, I can't think of it in an instant where it has, and I don't understand why that is happening now. And I know that the question was asked, but from what I saw in the report, the reason given for that wasn't satisfactory to me anyway. So I don't know why these folks aren't just waiting until they have something in addition that they want to do. So city certainly isn't bothering them. If they were that concerned about the current state of the zoning down there, they should have taken action on it prior to buying it and making a condition of the sale that the zone be changed.
Counselor
Come in
Gentile,
after
you
that
need,
fact.
you need to ask for more time.
Just 1 minute.
Okay, Counselor Gentile would like an additional minute. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Please go ahead.
So I think that that's what should have happened, as I said, is that that could have all been resolved at the time of sale, as opposed to buying the property zoned the way that it is. From the reports I've gotten and that were read tonight, the buyer knew what they were getting into as far as the zoning, and they should have taken care of it then. To now just say that, you know, they want to just change it even though they don't have a plan, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I need more information on this. Maybe somebody on the, you know, the petitioner or the petitioner's attorney can help me out in that regard, but I'm not prepared to vote on this tonight, so I'm going to charter the item.
Okay. So that concludes our work for the evening at 8:14. Have a good rest of the month of August. And I know we have some committee meetings, but hopefully you'll take some off. Pardon?
Good night, everyone.
Oh, are you offering a motion to adjourn? Counselor Gentile, would you like to offer a motion to adjourn?
I move adjourn.
Thank you very much.